All right, everyone. Good Monday, 7:10 right now. Look at that big, pretty sky that we've got over Kansas City. It has been really a pretty nice afternoon. Temperatures have been a bit on the cool side, but we're looking good right now. So, hey, we've got our eyes on tomorrow and want to give you this update for what looks to be heading our way on Tuesday and into Tuesday night. So we've got a two-tiered alert system. So if you've been watching us for any length of time, when there's something that could affect your plans, like, you know, your soccer game could get wet and maybe it won't happen, that kind of thing, we put a first warn on it. It means just disruptive. And then we have our top alert, which is a first warn weather day, which is, hey, this could be dangerous kind of stuff. We're talking about, like, you know, slow commute, dangerous commute because of snow, ice, severe storms if there's a significant severe risk. And we have that for Tuesday. So Tuesday's our top alert because there's a chance that some of us, not everybody, but some of us could have some nasty kind of rockin' storms move through, and we just want to let you know about that. So not trying to hype everything up and not trying to make it sound like it's something that it won't, but I also want you to be prepared for the likelihood that we have some storms come through tomorrow and the reasonable possibility that some of those are going to be severe. Okay, so we're going to walk you through all the timeline. I've got my comments up. If you've got comments, something that you want to say, just say it. I don't know what that means, but I'm reading the comments. So if you've got something that you want to know, I'll try to answer as many as I can. So let's get to work. All right, so here's the bottom line for our Tuesday. First off, much of your day is going to be dry. It's dry and it's windy. Now, there's a low chance for some afternoon showers, but we aren't talking about severe weather until as early as 8 p.m. So no severe risk until about 8 p.m. or so. By that point, though, you need to be thinking about, all right, what are we going to do if we're under a warning? There could be tornado warnings tomorrow. Not saying that it's going to happen. I'm saying it's possible. So what's your plan? And then there may be two rounds here. This first round's kind of iffy. Don't know if that 8 p.m. round's going to happen. I'll explain. But then the one that it's going to happen. It looks like there's every reasonable thing that I look at says that we're going to get a line of storms to come through. That's going to be overnight Tuesday. That's while a lot of us are sleeping. So that severe risk will continue while a lot of us are in bed, have a way to get warnings kind of thing. The First Warn 5 weather app, it's geolocated to your area. So it won't be going off all night. But if you're under a warning and you want to be alerted to, hey, something's coming through, that is something that I would recommend. Just have a way to stay informed. So here's the setup. Let me give you the kind of why are we talking about severe weather for tomorrow. First off, you see this is something that we look at. So it's behind the scenes kind of stuff. All that pink is winds that are about a mile above the ground. It's what we call a low level jet, and that helps strengthen storm systems as they're developing. It's going to spin them up. They get spinning. And because it's blowing so hard on one side of that low, it helps wrap them up. And those are going to be going about 65 miles an hour, a mile above the ground. And we also have the fuel in place for storms. That's the red that you see there. And then the computer forecasts are putting out, see that line that's coming in? It's going to be moving in tomorrow evening. So that one goes out till about 10 o'clock, though they may be a little bit sooner than that. So this is our severe risk. Everybody's under a level 2. So is it super high? No. It's a level 2 out of 5. It's not a level 4 or 5 out of 5, but that's a reasonable risk. And then the highest risk zone is to our southwest. Lawrence, Ottawa, Garnett's under a level 3 out of 5 severe risk. I'll give you more on that and the reasoning behind it in a second. But first off, like, what are the risks? So for Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, primarily, what's most likely to happen would be what we typically see with severe thunderstorms, which is wind and hail. In pockets, not everybody, but in pockets in the strongest cells, we'll probably get some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, probably get some hail to the size of quarters or larger, so be parking your car in the garage if you have one, that kind of thing. There is a tornado risk tomorrow. There's a chance that we have a tornado watch that gets issued tomorrow evening, and that we could see some storms want to rotate. The setup is there. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying there is the potential on the table for some rotating thunderstorms and a tornado risk for tomorrow. It's not a high risk. It's not, jacked way up, but it's there. And anytime there's a tornado risk, we ought to be thinking about that. So here's another graphic I made. This one I used at the 5. And I'm showing you this because all of us are going to get rain. Some of us are going to get storms. I think most of us are going to get at least thunderstorms. They just may not be bad, but in pockets, some of us could get some severe storms. Is kind of what I mentioned there. All right, so timing this out. Your morning looks dry. Your afternoon, 4 p.m., spotty rain, not severe. Then we get to 8 p.m. And by 8 p.m., that's when we kick on, hey, pay attention. First Warn Weather Day starts here as Thunderstorms may be going by then. I say may, you look at your rain chance, it's 40%. That's kind of iffy, again, and I'll show you that in just a sec. So those would be isolated if they get going. That's kind of 8, 9, 10. But once we get past 10, then the main batch looks to come through. Here, let me get you this full graphic. And that one looks much more widespread. So you can see your chances go up pretty high by about midnight, give or take an hour or two, something like that. So roughly 10 to 2, 11 to 2, something like that, is going to be most likely when we see the widespread stuff come by. Here it is this is what the forecast radar. So this is the best stuff you can get your hands on. So this is high resolution computer data. It doesn't go out very far, but it sees all the detail in the short term. And this is a really good piece of guidance, is what we call it, to look at. So this is what the computers have for Tuesday. And this is pretty well across the board, something like this, what radar may look like. Tuesday morning, largely dry. It's going to be a cloudy day. Don't see a lot of sunshine tomorrow. There's your afternoon. That's why I've got a 20% rain chance for the afternoon. These are just regular old rain showers. Not severe, but you could see a few showers Tuesday afternoon. This is 9 o'clock. And you see two things here. One, there's this line that's coming in out of the northwest. That's the main line. That's the one that most everybody should get something from, whether it's just rain or whether it's strong storms. But you see these little pockets, these isolated, what are thunderstorms near Lawrence and Olathe and Garnett? We don't know that those will even be able to form, but the computers are saying they might. And if these can form where they're away from that main line, then they've got all the energy to themselves, and these are the ones that would be most likely to want to spin and bring a potential tornado risk. So because of that, southwest of Kansas City, that's why we've got the level 3 risk there for Lawrence, Ottawa, Garnett coming in out of central Kansas. That'd be your greatest threat for tornadoes. You get away from that, there is still a tornado risk, but it's just lower. And the primary threat there would be, we're thinking mainly hail and high winds as the line comes through, which is usually what you see. So that's including Kansas City, and everybody else that's shaded in yellow. You can pick out your town and see if you're under the yellow or the orange. So the level 2 risk mainly is hail and damaging winds. So you can see that line come in on the same radar, forecast radar. There it is by 11. So now we don't have isolated little storms all by themselves. It's a big stretched out line that sweeps across the area, and everybody gets something there, whether it be, a brief thunderstorm, or whether it be where you see the pink, like Richmond, and, that's in those pink cells at the leading edge of the line is where we'd be most likely to see severe weather, where we'd have warnings, where we'd have, potential hail and high winds. And even within a severe thunderstorm warning, if you're within that, you might not get the severe portion of the storm, because they allow a little wiggle room. So you can be under a warning for a severe thunderstorm, and the hail core, for example, passes just to your north. So they allow, in those warnings issued by the National Weather Service, kind of a polygon. It's not like a small little box just where the severe portion of the storm is. The storm may track a little north or a little south, and they allow for that and just say, if you're in this zone, you could see severe weather. So again, highlighting, I don't think everybody's going to see severe weather. That's my point. But in pockets, it'll be out there. So there's around midnight, 11 p.m. This is actually 11:56 p.m. is what I'm showing you. You just don't see that on your timeline. There it is by 2 a.m., and we may be shutting down in Kansas City 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that, but continuing in our eastern counties. So Marshall, Odessa, Warrensburg, you're all still under that level 2 risk. And for the morning, we may not have anything left over. It depends on the timing, but there's still a shot that we have some storms trying to get out of here on Wednesday morning. I don't see a severe risk in Kansas City on Wednesday morning, but for our eastern counties where that stripe of thunderstorms is, there may still be enough punch in those for a real low severe risk, some pockets isolated, very isolated, for some hail and some severe wind about daybreak on Wednesday. And then much of Wednesday's dry. Once those are gone by 8, 9 o'clock, then we'll be dry the rest of the day on Wednesday. Let's talk rain. How much rain could we get? Pretty big spread here. It depends on how hard you get hit by the storms, but if you get under a good pocket of storms, you could get upwards of 1.5 inches of rain. Some others might get a quarter, half inch, something like that. I think everybody gets rain, and some of us may end up with a fair amount of it. Okay, so that's for tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. Blue skies out there now. Temperatures, we're in the low 50s. We hit 55 today, so normal is 61. and we didn't get there. So for Tuesday, here's how Tuesday shakes out. Your morning again's dry. It's a little cool. You're about 40. Clouds around for much of the day. A little breezy in the morning, but it turns gusty in the afternoon. I'll show you that in a second, but these gusts up to 40. 65 is your afternoon high. So it's warmer tomorrow. Warmer and windy. Look at this wind gust. Morning doesn't look too bad. Winds are coming out of the southeast. Top winds up to about 20 miles per hour or so. But look at what happens in the afternoon. There we go. Now we're up to 40-ish, 35, 40 mile per hour peak winds. I think 15 to 25 constantly blowing, but then every now and again you get this burst of like a 40 mile per hour wind. All right, so there's our 7-day. Wednesday, 70. It's even warmer. The storms move out. Still kind of gusty, like 30 mile per hour winds on Wednesday, but Wednesday looks pretty good. So the first one is there in case we have some of those morning leftover storms and that low severe risk, but much of the day's not a problem. Thursday, Friday, cooler. We drop it back down. We're in the 50s here. Let me get you the full 7-day. We're in the 50s for Thursday and Friday late this week. Royals are back in action on Friday. It's I think it's 6:30 first pitch, something like that. So we'll have to watch for a little rain. It doesn't look like much, but some showers, cooler 50s. Then Saturday, do you have plans on Saturday? 55. Another first one to highlight, hey, plans outside. Keep an eye on this because we could have rain. I don't see, not severe weather, nothing like that, nothing dangerous, but this is why I've got the first one on there. If this plays out this way, the afternoon could be pretty rainy, and that may affect your plans, what you got going on. I got something happening Saturday, so this might change that. But there's a sharp cutoff. You can see we're right on that northern edge of rain on Saturday, where some of us may get nothing on Saturday north of I-70. South of I-70 could be a wet afternoon. But this is far enough out that we've got time for this to adjust, and if this system draws a little bit farther to the south, 50, 75 miles, which it may, then Saturday, it's got hope, is my point. And Sunday, too. Sunday's not a washout, but some spotty rain. It's just kind of an unsettled, in and out of a few showers type of setup Thursday through the weekend. And we keep it cool. We're in the 50s, 55 both days this weekend, even Monday. So that's our first 7 days of April that we're looking at there. So that's the setup I've got for you guys. That's let's see here. See if we've got any questions here. All right, Katie likes the weather app. Awesome. Let's see. Anan, you're welcome. Emporia, so looking out in Kansas, yes, severe risk there. Could the enhanced be stretched over the city? So she's asking about this graphic here. Let me see if I can get it back for you. So I got a question about the risk. In the level 3, the technical term for the level 3 severe risk is an enhanced risk. And there's this whole name system that goes with these. So like a level 1 is called marginal, a level 2 is called slight, level 3 is called enhanced. Could the level 3 be expanded to include Kansas City? It could. The Storm Prediction Center, a branch of the National Weather Service that focuses on severe weather, and they issue every single watch. We don't issue severe thunderstorm watches. That comes from this branch of the National Weather Service. So they put out these. These are kind of like pre-watches. And if the conditions of the atmosphere were to change a little bit in the placement and timing of storms, yes, it's often that we see these get moved around a little bit the day of the event. So we're going to have to wait and see what the morning brings and how everything is set up, if that could be moved. For right now, though, it does look like that greater risk is just southwest of Kansas City. But stay tuned. The bottom line is just kind of stay aware for tomorrow. All right, let's see what else we have. No radio's working. They should, yes. Could Belton have storms tomorrow? Yes. I think you probably will have storms. Well, you have severe storms. Like I say, it's going to be kind of isolated. Let's see what else. Baser. So Baser tomorrow, dry morning, much of the day, just clouds. And then you'll be getting into them sooner if you're like in Baser, kind of north and west. Let me get you back, and I'll run through this radar again, this forecast radar. So pick out Baser, run just kind of west of KC, and watch how you'll get the line coming in. So there's 2 o'clock, just rain, spotty, and you may not even see rain during the day. Be just regular old showers. But then we get into this. So Baser, you're kind of close to that higher risk zone, so you need to watch if we get this early batch, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. those isolated ones by themselves. And then here comes the main line. So you'll get it. There you go. 10, 11 is what this computer's showing. So timing could change a little bit, but right now it looks like 10, 11. Be ready for that one to come through. It may just be gusty winds and, a few claps of thunder. You could have a severe thunderstorm warning, that kind of thing. That's how it looks for baser. And pretty much everywhere, it's just the timing of, do you get it first or are you going to get it a little bit later is sort of the main question. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Odessa. So Odessa, you're going to be just a little bit later. You're east of Kansas City. I'll show you there. So you got it by about midnight. But this is going to be a quick moving line. So if it's coming through Kansas City, Odessa, you'll probably have it about 45 minutes to an hour later. So just heads up there. But yeah, you've got primarily a hail and wind threat, and it'll probably be, unless you're a night owl, while you're sleeping. So I think that's the last of the questions. All right. So hope that helps with your plans. Again, deal here is not to try to spook anybody and make a big deal out of weather, but I also want you to know that, hey, we're going to have some strong storms tomorrow. I would want to know about that, especially if I'm sleeping and I got my babies at home, which I do. So I'll be watching out for them and just letting you know what we see. So again, hope that helps. Thank you for watching, and have a great night. We'll be bringing you updates the whole way through. We've got updates at 10. We'll have updates tomorrow morning with Greg Bennett. And then tomorrow afternoon and all day long, we're staffed up. We're going to be watching all this stuff. We got your back. So take care. Have a great night.